Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. Another morning on the watch list. How you guys doing, you guys? I'm glad a few of you waited. Once I was about to jump in, I needed a couple seconds, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's early again. I like to jump on here in the mornings now as we're going through the RNC to sit back, talk about some of the insanity that we saw. Maybe even there's a little bit of normalcy going on at the RNC. Maybe eventually it'll come, but it hasn't happened in the first couple of days. I came on a Tuesday morning to talk about Monday. Now we're here on Wednesday to talk about Tuesday. Just some of the moments that I saw compiling on my timeline, some of the fun things that happened. I'm having a hard time watching everything. I enjoy the conventions, of course, as I mentioned to you guys before, but actually, there's a lot going on, so it's a little bit tough to follow everything. Some of the best stuff is always posted, so I like to sift through it a little bit and go through it with you all. Glad to see you guys. Good morning. Took me a couple seconds. I saw a few of you guys are waiting. I got my coffee as well. I don't really drink coffee unless I'm working. See, check it out. Look. Too strong coffee. Still got it working. Hope you guys, I don't even know if we're selling the stuff anymore, but we still got the mugs. Glad you guys are with me. Let's go through some of the things that went down. A lot of stuff was talked about from the day before. I wish I talked about Amber Rose on what she did on Monday after they presented her as a rapper, I think, and an influencer model. I'm not sure what they called her, but they called her a rapper was one of the things. Blurred out the forehead tattoo that she's got on her picture before she then walked out with it, of course, all in her face. So they already started by censoring who she is and what she's got on her face, because they approve of her so much, or maybe they're just using her. Sorry, I just had to go across some of the things that were said. Let's jump to some of the things that went down yesterday, Tuesday, at the RNC. Hopefully, this will be a little bit smoother today. Yesterday, my internet was very jumpy. I wasn't able to play some of these, but I think everyone saw this moment. It has to be explained a little bit. So first, I want you guys to see it because there's a little bit of comedy to it. Let's keep it real. First moment from day 2 of the RNC that I like to share with you guys. Oh, luckily, maybe the seats broke his fall. I want you guys to look at the photographers. All the guys with they have yellow lanyards on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. 6 photographers rushing over to rescue Rudy Giuliani. He's the 7th.
He just took a tumble.
Let's watch it again as I talk about what happened. So Rudy Giuliani was walking across the floor in the RNC. There's the stage, or at least the elevated floor area. And that's where the delegates are sitting. And now that's where Rudy Giuliani is sitting. Sorry. You shouldn't laugh at people falling, but the thing is, this guy's a traitor to the United States. I was going to say defrauded, but lied on those 2 women who were poll workers during the election in 2020, and he owes them money. This guy's not a good guy. So anytime we want to have, people talk about meanness and all that stuff and be so tough, these guys, Donald Trump dealt with a lot. The things that they want for the rest of Americans, and specifically people who don't agree with them, is disastrous. It's hatred. They don't like you. If you took a fall, they wouldn't even laugh at it. They'd be like, I hope he dies. It's just how these folks operate. There's an authoritarian energy coming through the country, and anybody who wants to get on board, including people like him, who was part of trying to steal that last election after he lost, there's no sympathy for them. I don't care. I just don't care. But I will give the explanation that someone did point out, because it makes sense. It still doesn't make it any less funny. So you guys see this, I'm not sure if I can have a pointer. So there's the red walkway, there's the carpeted area, and where all those chairs are is where he then tumbled. There's a bit of a drop off. It's like a step. So he didn't realize there was a step. He was kind of leaning towards the chairs and took a step that he didn't know he was going to take. That's when the tumble happened. He's okay, so we can laugh at him. But they said many people, not even necessarily many, they said people were taking tumbles that day, trying to walk around, I guess, when no one was there. Maybe when folks are sitting there, it's not as hard to identify the fact that they're sitting a little bit lower. But it's a nice to start Rudy falling over his ass at the RNC. There's more that went down, though. There's actual things that were said. One of those folks that came out was Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, former fierce opponent of Donald Trump, former a cabinet member in Donald Trump's administration. She apparently turned on him when she decided to run for president in the primaries and say a lot of things about him that are pretty true. Let's see what she had to say about him yesterday, because she's, I guess, falling back in line within the party, or else that's for damn sure.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
Yes, he does. His face is like, I told you.
Donald Trump
Just one more time.
has my strong endorsement, period.
Endorsement, period. She goes into, of course, she had more of a speech than that, but that's the general idea. That was the main crux of it. She didn't point out, I know people who disagree with Donald Trump. Sometimes people disagree with Donald Trump. You can't completely disagree with someone all the time to vote for them. Cool. That's like normal thought. No one has to agree with a candidate 100% of the time. If nothing else, that's a pretty bad flex, because it's pointing out that, most of us think that we have to agree with 100% with what a candidate says and does at utmost 100% fealty, or else we're not real supporters. We're not real politicians. We're not real voters. It's the most normal thing in the world. Why would anyone have to agree with 100% of what a candidate does, especially someone like this? So that's her, I guess, her apology tour for the things that she said about him, which I think you guys might have remembered. These are a couple of things that she said about him, and she probably wants these things to go away.
Trump. Dread him. They know what a disaster he's been and will continue to be for our party. Donald Trump can't win a general election.
Donald Trump was totally unhinged. Unhinged. No matter what Donald Trump thinks, he can't bully his way to the White House.
Oh, yes,
it's not going to work.
Of course, many of the same politicians who now publicly embrace Trump privately dread him.
I just want to replay that. That's very specific to Nikki Haley. A lot of politicians that publicly praise Trump privately loathe him, hate him, dislike him, are afraid of him, maybe like Nikki Haley. But she's back out there, just like Ted Cruz did, just like Marco Rubio, I think we're getting to Marco Rubio, to which they all do. I see the comparison when it comes to Kamala Harris and the way that she went after Joe Biden during their primary back when he was running in 2020. But that happens all the time. There's a large level of them campaigning hardcore, going about how this guy is a detriment to the country. He's a con artist. Republicans who follow him don't really like him. This was a different level. They did it also in 2015 when they were primarying and when he first came in, completely laid waste to who this guy really is. So you have to make them at least point out, like JD Vance had to, which his excuse is what it is. Why? What changed now? You said he can't bully his way to the White House. He bullied your ass right out of the way. Right now, you're proving he can bully his way at least to the easy nomination and potentially the White House, because you're now giving him your full and total endorsement. He can't bully me. What's real and what's not? Why say anything? When you're campaigning, go, I'm saying all this stuff, but if I happen to lose, I'm all on board because I can't think of anything else I would rather do. I don't even believe in my own candidacy. I'm just doing this for a little bit of extra support. Some really rich folks pushed me along and said, give it a try, Nikki. And I was like, fine, whatever. I don't really like the guy anyway. But what she's not getting is another post in his administration, because she had that already. And he knows what she did with that. Parlayed it. And hopefully thought she was going to get a higher office over it. I'm not sure how she thought that would work, considering she's one of the people who brought this guy into power. Whatever. A couple of you guys are talking. I just at least want to point that out. People are pointing out John Smith, that he, of course, called her bird brain, amongst other things, talked trash about her active duty husband who went off overseas. And he said, where is he at? Talked so much trash about these folks, but they will take their asses right back in front of a crowd full of Republicans and say, I'm sorry, sir. May I kneel and kiss your foot one more time? I'm just saying. So she has to convince people, yo, it's okay if you only agree with him 98% of the time. Because normally, the way Donald Trump looks at folks, if you agree with him 98% of the time, you're a traitor, you're disloyal. That's the way that they talk. Yes, Steven Sayers, I am live. Where have you been? We haven't been catching up. Let's get this going. This is going to be a regular thing, you guys. I used to do a morning show. I can do this stuff. I do miss my old producers, Emilio and Emily. But yo, I think I can swing this a little bit myself. Good to see you guys as well. Jules T says, is JJ still in LA? I heard that they left LA. You hear things. There's a lot of things being said. What are you guys talking about? One more before I go to this next video. What's going on, Trisha Briggs? What's going on with you guys? Let's go to one more. Let's take off to what else happened. Oh, here's Marco Rubio. Told you guys Marco Rubio was coming up. As you guys know, after Donald Trump was shot at his rally on Saturday, he jumped up, threw the fist up, and said, fight, 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 fight. That's become their new campaign slogan. MAGA 2024, fight. That comes with the same, I think there was a theme for this RNC. They said after that, it's going to be all about unity. Unity. It's going to be unity. Previous to the even start of the day one speakers, they were chanting fight on the floor of the RNC because, you know, fight means unity. Let's see what else they were saying on day two of the RNC. Here we go. Marco Rubio was standing in front of them when this chant went down. Give me a second. I told you guys Emilio and Emily aren't here. Come on. That's right. Marco Rubio applauding Vance as usual. And I'm going to point out again, just like Nikki Haley, Marco Rubio was a fierce opponent of Donald Trump back in 2015, 2016, called him Tiny Hands Don, said he's got a little thing. They went through their battles back and forth, called him a con man. Same stuff. If you follow this guy, you've been conned. This guy's bad for the party. He's bad for the country. He's a destructive force within our country. Now they're chanting fight, fight, fight. And after he was shot at, other things he had to say about Donald Trump. You won't be surprised at some of the things that he had to say about Donald Trump directly after they chanted that they wanted to fight more. Fighting, fighting, fighting. Here we go. Hold on.
Be alone in this fight.
No.
For leading us in this fight will be a man who, although wounded and facing danger, he stood up and raised his fist and reminded us that our people and our country are always worth fighting for.
And we want fighting. He's fighting all the time. Fight, 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 fight. This guy's still talking in my ear. Shut up, Marco. So we're back to fighting. More fighting. Fight for this guy. We're not in this fight alone. Our deity is leading us into this fight. So, of course, again, as assassination attempts just happened, Secret Service, FBI, all of them that are these law enforcement agencies that are looking out for things like this already, because it's already heightened whenever big time campaigns happen. The response then for many folks who are so horrified by the violence in America is let's have more of it. Let's go for more. Matter of fact, let's see if someone can shoot anyone else that we can think of. And then we'll say it's still the Democrats' fault. You guys should never started this whole thing. But Marco Rubio, again, another guy who didn't get the vice presidential nod, along with Tim Scott, Byron Donalds. Vivek wasn't really on the list. He was just kind of put there for a second. Doug Burgum, they'll come back. Probably disappointed. I'm not sure why Marco Rubio thought he'd have a chance. Still, come back disappointed and put their faces right back in front of another camera and say, yes, sir, may I have another? I have a feeling the only reason Marco Rubio is on the finalized list was just to keep his hopes up for a little bit longer. I don't think Donald Trump forgot about all the insults. I don't think he forgave him for all the insults, for the little penis comments. I don't think he really let that go. The only reason he was still on the list was because of that stuff, and he wanted him to have maybe some level of disappointment. Who knows? Maybe Marco Rubio never even considered he would make it because he knew how this guy is. So maybe these guys are now shooting their shot at having a spot in his administration somewhere as a cabinet member. That's why Tim Scott was still screaming yesterday and acting like this guy just saved him from everything. I can't stand Tim Scott. It's a nightmare. So there's Marco Rubio chanting for more fighting to go on in our country, because that's a good thing. Lastly, this last stretch, I want to point out this one person I've never heard of before, because I don't watch enough reality TV, specifically the kind of reality TV that her family was involved in. But apparently they're criminals. And, if you have a family of criminals, you can go to the Republican Party, specifically the RNC, and talk about how your family is full of criminals. And I can't believe the dirty justice system in the United States of America would prosecute my criminal family. You can only say that to a guy who says the same thing about his criminal behavior. Maybe you guys know who this lady is. I hadn't really known much about her until I looked at this ridiculous declaration that she makes. They called her Russia with
00019 and 726-01019. These may be just numbers to you, but to me, they're my whole heart. These numbers are my parents' identification numbers in our federal prison system. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and you may have seen my family on TV, but for the past decade, we've been consumed with a different kind of drama. My family was persecuted by rogue prosecutors in Fulton County.
Oh, yeah.
Due to our public profile. I know, Fulton County, they know how to do it, don't they?
Sure do.
Due to our public profile and conservative beliefs. 726-00019 and 7.
So 867-5309. Jenny, I got your number. I don't care what your parents' inmate numbers are. I care that they're inmates. I care that they were actually busted for the crimes that they were apparently committed and were convicted of. This is Chrisley. Her last name is Chrisley, I guess. And there was a reality show called Chrisley Knows Best. And I guess it's their whole family. So her parents are in prison in Fulton County. The reason she was invited to speak at the RNC was because her criminal parents happened to have been prosecuted by the same office that the former president was prosecuted in. Hey, I guess this place really knows how to go get the bad guys. Law and order, back the thin blue line. Unless it's coming after red criminals. It's really weird how that works, isn't it? Somehow all these guys are totally corrupt, but I assume Fulton County prosecutors have come after people that these folks don't agree with. Were they not doing their job well then either? So just go up, give your parents inmate numbers, and talk about how bad it was. No reasons why they were wrongfully convicted, because of their public profile as conservatives. She said more. Keep it real. This is ridiculous. Let me go to this one. Miss Chrisley knows best is what I heard is what the show is. That's what I hear. Let's go to this one. Hold on. One more.
In the most heavily Democrat county in the state, before an Obama-appointed judge. He asked the Trumps of the South.
I'm going to let this play again because I messed up.
Yeah. Hey, it's fun. He meant it as an insult, but let me tell you, boy, do I wear it as a badge of honor.
Oh, man.
I'll never forget what the prosecutor said in the most heavily Democrat county in the state before an Obama-appointed judge. He called us the Trumps of the South. Hey, it's fun.
Honor, she says again. So apparently they were called the Trumps of the South. I think because of the tax evasion, maybe the white collar crime, the rich folks thinking they can do whatever the hell they want. Maybe those are the comparisons that they made. So I get that you take it as a badge of honor because, big time criminals that owe the government tens of millions of dollars from trying to evade their responsibilities. Quite similar to the former president, who still hasn't been busted for that, but had all kinds of other issues come up. We could probably add 35 other cases to it if they actually look into the things that he's done. But she's upset that her parents got busted for breaking the law. Weird. It's weird how that works. Can we read about some of the things that they were doing when they broke the law? Here, let me take this off to the side so maybe you guys can still keep me here. It was a quick search. Her name is Julie Chrisley, is her mom's name. her sentence in the bank fraud and tax evasion case. She and her husband. So it was Julie Chrisley and what's Todd Chrisley. Maybe you guys know about these folks better than I do. I honestly don't care. I've heard of Chrisley knows best. That's the furthest extent that I got. I don't know what their business is. I don't know why they got a reality TV show, but apparently it had something to do with having a loving, tight-knit family. Let's read a little bit about what they did. I mean, if they've got 8675309 attached to their necks over. So they were convicted in 2022 of conspiring to defraud community banks of more than $30 million in fraudulent loans. Does that sound familiar to someone else? Maybe that's why she was invited. The Chrisleys were also found guilty of tax evasion by hiding their earnings while showcasing an extravagant lifestyle. It's not like you don't have enough money. It's not like whatever Bravo, whoever was paying them, wasn't paying them enough. It's just that they don't like following the law because they're rich. And apparently they're the Georgia Trumps, whatever the hell she said that the prosecutor called them. There's more. Also, the couple's accountant, he stood trial with them, and he was convicted of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. by willfully filing false tax returns. Yeah, they need a little bit of help. My man came along and helped them. Now he's also going to jail. So there was one wrinkle in this because apparently they over-sentenced their mother, Julie. They charged her for the whole damn scheme by herself, when maybe she should get a lesser sentence. But Todd is in prison for quite some time. I think he's going to be there until 2032, something like that. A little bit more. Before they became reality TV stars, they and a former business partner submitted false documents to banks in the Atlanta area to obtain fraudulent loans. Prosecutors said during this trial that they accused the couple of spending lavishly on cars, designer clothes, real estate, and travel, and using new fraudulent loans to pay off old ones. Todd Chrisley then filed for bankruptcy. There's a lot of parallels here. So Todd Chrisley filed for bankruptcy, and he walking away from more than $20 million in unpaid loans. A lot of people are really upset about Joe Biden's initiatives or his half-assed attempt to forgive student loan debt for many Americans, and how that would boost the economy because people are just paying student loan debt, and many people aren't actually. So that money isn't necessarily coming back, and it's just ruining people's chances at more opportunities, which they went to college for in the first place, and they have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars at times to go to those colleges. But these folks who defrauded the country of tens of millions of dollars, false records on it, loan paybacks, all of these things that they did that are very parallel to things Donald Trump liked to do. Who's paying for that? Because I hear people say, I'm not paying for your student loan debt. How dare you? You're paying anyway. It just matters of where the money is going. Is the money going to go to more wars overseas? Is going to put more trillions of dollars into our military to go destroy other people's countries? You want that stuff. Or maybe some universal health care, things like that would actually make this country, as they like to say, great. But they don't care about people in this country. They care about exalting themselves. The America great again stuff, it's make me great again. Use you lemmings as a way for me to step on top of your heads and make myself better again. So once you finally get caught, because they decided to, I guess, go after 1 to 2 of these folks, there's plenty more, then it's a problem. Now the law enforcement is way out of control. It's a problem. But if anybody else runs into a bank and defrauds the bank for $10,000, $50,000, let's go really crazy and say $100,000. Their ass is going to be in jail. John Jacobs, somewhere in the middle of Nebraska, his ass will be in jail. And he won't be invited to the RNC to talk about his parents' inmate numbers after they broke the damn law. This is some upside down world BS, man, I've never even heard of before. But they're so blatant about how they've always been able to skirt the law. They're upset when it catches up to them one effing time. So tired of these criminals. Yo, when are we going to finally start breaking down some of these criminals in our United States? I'm tired of seeing these street criminals run around and take my money. I pay taxes. These losers don't. Give me your damn numbers. 867-309. Write it on a bathroom stall. I'm going to leave in a second, you guys. XOXO Bob says he used to watch that show. They were real estate investors. Oh, good job. I wonder if they gouged people as well. I mean, I'm not sure if they sold it or rented it out, but that's the big problem in this country too. Yeah, a couple bootstraps from Jules T says pick up those bootstraps. Definitely, absolutely. Where are the bootstraps, bro? You got millions of dollars worth, tens of millions of dollars worth of money you stole. You must have bought a couple of bootstraps. Pull your ass up and do your time. maybe you can come out rehabilitated, and maybe you won't go back to prison for the same thing you keep doing because you're committed to a life of crime. So tired of this. Why can't we call them dirty criminals? Why can't I be concerned when they walk in my neighborhood? Because, you know, these guys are criminals. They're desperate. They might shoot me. What's up, Evoxy? Says, well, yo, Jayar, what's up? Didn't expect a live stream. Are they 5 days a week again? Who knows? I mean, during this week, there's craziness happening at the RNC. So we're definitely going to give you guys 5 days a week of some live morning watch list. Because yes, you guys, as I told you guys many times before, I am a morning person, even though I'm drinking my coffee, but also Monday is still the best damn day of the week. Shout out. Shout out to Monday, you guys, and Jessica Burbank, who used to always come on the show. We still keep in touch. It's good to see Jessica doing her thing. So what else before I jump out of here? Lori Park says I need to go live all the time. I shall try. I still also, by the way, in case you guys don't know, we still do reaction videos to things that are going on during the day. Right after I jump off here, I'm going to start going through some of the work that's happening, some of the things that are going on, some of the offshoots of the RNC as I'm talking today, but also just the general campaign stuff, general politics that we'll see, some of the lying that we'll get from any politicians that are trying to progress Donald Trump's candidacy. There'll be a couple of good videos out today. Keep your eyes on the watch to see, guys. Go ahead and put the hit the notifications so you guys know when things happen. We post a couple videos a day with a quick breakdown as I explain what's going down. So for those of you who didn't know, yes, we're still doing this over at the watch list. Let your friends and let your families know. Repost a couple up there on the threads or the X's and the Facebooks. You know, all those fun places to be. So good to see you guys. We'll catch you guys a little bit later. I did appear on the Damage Report last Thursday, a little bit of a test run to see if I still had the time to jump in and do a little bit of John's show, because John's show is always fun to do. We talked some wrestling. We talked the normal politics. I might be back around. He'll let you guys know, or maybe I will, because I'm back on here every once in a while too. Good to see you guys. This was day 2 of the RNC. Day 3, it's Wednesday. And it's going to start in a few more hours, several more hours before they get to talking. And as the week goes on, the level of speakers gets a little bit more important. They get a little bit more intense, and eventually leading up to Donald Trump, who apparently has a unity message. We'll see. Also, we'll see you guys later. Good to see you.